Happy Saturday!
Happy Saturday.
You guys are probably like, what? April and Linda on a Saturday morning, afternoon, depending on where you are. Yes, we are here. And we are covering the new season of 90 Day Fiance, season 11, episode 3, here on the Melanated Way. If you don't know me, I'm Linda. That's my co-host over there, April. And let's just get into it.
Let's get
Between
into it.
love
Hey,
and madness. What are
yes.
your... Hi, Ray Della. I miss you. What were your overall thoughts on this episode, April?
I love this season. It's starting off so good. We have so much variety in the couples. And I feel like we've gotten back to the original 90 Day where the people actually like each other. Like we can see the chemistry in these couples. Whether we like the couples themselves or not, different story. But at least we can see the chemistry in them. Hey, Connie.
I agree 100%. This is like, they don't really know what they've gotten into. I like that some of them have never even been to America, so they're having like a whole like awareness and being awake. Hey, Connie. So yeah, I agree with you. So far, so good. Although I do have some strong feelings about a lot of the couples already.
I do too. I have notes this time for my feelings.
And I have questions for you because some of it just doesn't make sense to me. So let's jump into Mark and Mina and their daughter, Maria. They've arrived, right? She has 89 days to get married to Mark. Now, word on the street is that they're already married and that they've been together. That's the word on the street. And they are giving really loving vibes. And I'm not sure if that's true or not, but you can tell that they like each other. And for sure, he loves her. One of the things I love about Mina so far is that she is giving you all of her naturalness. Like she doesn't care if she doesn't have makeup on one day, because that is not how she lives her life every single day. She doesn't care if, there might be a little scar here, whatever. She loves herself. She knows that when she puts her makeup on and goes out and lives that life, that she can do that too. And I just feel like that's just really more representative of real life.
Same. I feel like neither one of them is giving us a production for TV. They are just letting us see their regular, normal life.
Yeah, agreed. So one of the things that's sad is that we find out that she has an older son, which is not sad, but that she had to leave him in Paris because his passport didn't come in time and they had passport complications. Now, April, that was one of the questions I had for you. So like, they've had over a year to get this sorted with the fiance visa, paperwork started for the passport. What would have held that up? Because for me, it's just not sitting right. Like you left your son, but you had all this time to take your daughter and yourself.
Right. And they just say passport complications. So everything I'm saying is just a speculation that might have happened. There's two things that I think might be happening here. One, it could be a basic mistake where, when you travel, your passport is supposed to be good for 6 months before you travel. So maybe they made the basic mistake of failing to renew the passport in time. Okay, that's one option. The thing that I think is more likely is that perhaps he was not a French citizen because France doesn't have birthright citizenship. So perhaps he was born there, but they're having trouble getting his passport from whichever country he is recognized as a citizen from. I did a video recently on this YouTube page, Abby the Attorney, about stateless in France because I'm very interested in birthright citizenship issues, like what happens when a country doesn't have one. And statelessness happens in France a lot because they don't have birthright citizenship. And if you were born there, but you're trying to get citizenship through your parent who's from Cameroon or some other country with connection to France, it's not always very easy. So that's my other suspicion of what might be going on here.
That is such good information because Clayton's super sad, misses his mom. She's left with some friend, Tracy, and she's even having doubts. Was it a good choice leaving the son? Now, I know April told us before, once you get that visa, you have to go. You can't like postpone it and be like, oh, I'll go later. But it definitely had to have been hard for her to leave her son. And, you're leaving him with not even a family member, just a friend. Right. Correct. And it's got to be hard, not only on the son, but Tracy as well, because you don't know It could be a week, it could be a month, it could be a year, right?
Right.
So have you signed up for that responsibility? It's quite hard.
Right. And I vehemently disagree with her telling Clayton, "Oh, it's only going to be a short amount of time." You don't know how much time it's going to be. I don't think that we should give kids unreal expectations. It crushes your spirit.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that. But we find out that Mina doesn't want to get married without her son there in the US, which makes sense. But she's also putting an unrealistic timeline, like April just said, on whether she's going to be married or not. Because 90 days is 90 days. It's not like you can be like, what? If you don't get married, you have to go back. And then you
Right.
have to restart that whole process again. And I don't know. I don't know if that's a good look either. The other thing that I felt was kind of crazy is, Mark, you've had a year and a half. You know you have a baby. You haven't seen your baby in that year and a half, and you have not prepared that house, your life, for a baby. No high chair, no diapers, no like baby food, nothing. You put in like a little gate and you thought, wow, I did some things. No, Mark, you didn't. So they go grocery shopping, but they don't really go grocery shopping, you guys. And like, it couldn't be me. Like, I'm not grocery shopping at the gas station down the street, Watson's convenience store. Mina's looking for lamb. She's looking for fresh vegetables and mushrooms. And that's not that, because guess what? It's not a supermarket. There's no fresh food. So instead they buy like canned food. You clearly can see that Mark, that bachelor lifestyle, he was like in it. So I know that he goes to Watson's convenience store on a regular and buys like whatever junk processed food he can, and he doesn't see a problem with it. And
no, he was like, "Yeah, here's all the frozen food, sir."
Exactly, sir. You are not single anymore. You have a whole family to feed and a baby to raise healthy and happy.
Right.
So I did think it was cute. Her saying, and I'm saying it wrong, but purposely, she's like trying to say Massachusetts. Like, Massachusetts. Love it. And she's like, that is so sexy. Okay. I never heard anyone say Massachusetts is sexy, but it could be.
I mean, no, it's not. But here's another, like I've said this before, when you're coming to the US and you've never been here before, to specifically the place where your partner lived, because every place is not like New York City, ask them to take you around town on FaceTime. Ask them to take you to the grocery store on FaceTime, to the park on FaceTime, so you can really get a feel for the neighborhood, because you might not want to live there.
Facts. And it's not what you always see on TV, right? Like,
No.
I always talk about how crazy it was. Like, you see Beverly Hills all the time on TV. And then you go there, you're like, it's so small. Or, you just don't think that it's not always what it looks like on TV. And not everywhere is like New York or Chicago or Los Angeles or whatever.
Right.
So I think that is very important. So they go next to a furniture place because there's no high chair to feed the baby. And that was not a furniture place that would carry those type of things. And again, Mark, you know your city, what's happening with you right now. Very ill prepared. Yeah.
That was so funny when she said, so there's no babies in this city.
So she's starting to think that maybe 90 days is not enough time to get married, because she's starting to see like, I'm going to need to get adjusted and Mark needs to get adjusted. Is 90 days going to be enough time? They sit outside, which was really cute, I thought, and they're having their gas station wine and pasta. Baby Marie is not having it. She does not. She's a Parisian baby, y'all. You've been to Paris? It is good food. And good food. This canned stuff is nothing that they know about.
No.
So, and then they put the baby to bed. They have a hot tub. They're going to take a hot tub, have some champagne. Love that it was in plastic glasses, not, y'all know how I feel about the paper plates and plastic cups and all the things. right? If we're going to go fancy, let's go fancy. You know what I mean? Like, give me a wine glass. Give me a champagne glass. I am not at a picnic. Anyways, Mark brings up Jordan. I think Jordan's going to be problematic. I think a little bit of a language barrier is going to be there too. But Mark wants Jordan and Mina to get along. And Mina's having an issue because all of a sudden she's hearing that Jordan has concerns about the age gap, about whether she married him for love or for a green card, doesn't want her to have any more kids. And all of those to me are selfish behavior, by the way. She's 27. I get what you're saying. You're concerned because you want to protect your dad's wealth because that's also your history and your, whatever is left to you for that next generation. I get that. But you're also, I agree with Mina, like, stay out of my relationship. And if you have an issue, come to me and talk to me. Don't talk behind my back and then smile in my face and be dancing and taking pictures with me. But meanwhile, you have all these concerns, because if you had addressed Mina, I'm sure she would have been open to having that conversation with you. Because now she thinks you're a snake. And I would think the same. You're smiling in my face and then saying that I'm a gold digger, saying that you don't want me to have any more babies. Those are your siblings.
Right. I think it's okay. I think it's okay for her to dial it back just a touch, though, because she has to remember that even though she's not that much older than the daughter, she's still in a position higher than the daughter. So take on that adult role that you have been given as the spouse and say, okay, I'm going to put my hurt aside a little bit and just go ahead and approach her and say, oh, hey, you may not have been comfortable talking to me about some things, but let's go ahead and talk about it. Be the adult in that relationship, even though it doesn't seem like she cares about being a stepmom very much. You're still the adult. So go ahead and mend the fence. And if you try and it doesn't work out, then fine. But just immediately saying she's a hypocrite and I'm upset, I think we could dial that back a little bit.
Yeah, but it makes for good drama. Makes for good drama.
I just want to see everybody get along. I do think they really like each other.
I do. I do think that Jordan's going to be problematic. That's the person number one so far this season that I think is going to be problematic. But we'll see. I'm still on the fence with her. Let's move on to Amani, Matt, and Annie. 30, 36, and 37 respectively. Super complicated situation. April and I talked about this a little bit on TikTok. We definitely fall on two separate sides of this fence. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But, Amani has some jealousy issues, and she recognizes it and brings it to the forefront. She's worried that perhaps Matt and Annie, or whenever you bring in a third, that third and the partner might develop stronger feelings for each other. So she's worried that, hey, maybe another woman's going to check more boxes than I check, which, why are you in this relationship then? Like, why are you in this throuple if you're already having doubts? Like, I'm a little... The three and Matt. I'm holding back, y'all. I'm holding back.
I think I know what you want to say.
I want to say all the things.
I think it's okay for her to voice the concerns so that they can talk about them and they're out in the open, rather than pretending that, oh, everything's just going to go smoothly. It's going to be okay. Like, just go ahead and say, like, jealousy is a natural human emotion. Go ahead, say it out loud. And then make your plan for how you're going to deal with it, because there are going to be times when two people get along more than the other two people, or that two go off and do something on their own, or two people have an interest the third person doesn't have, right? Like, they want to go explore something outside. I went on a trip with two friends of mine to Iceland, and two of us were very much into nature, wanted to stop everywhere along the drive and take pictures and explore. And the third person did not like that, right? So it happens even in platonic relationships. So just addressing it, okay, like, we've spent 3 hours doing the thing that we wanted to do, seeing the scenery. What do you want to do now? Like, so it's okay to just talk about it.
You're so mature. You're such the bigger person. So good. That's so good. Take April's advice, you guys, because I'm like, why are you even in this relationship? Why are you opening it to a third? I don't even understand how this is going to work out. Y'all have 3 kids. The 3 kids are staying with Brittany, the nanny, while you guys leave for Mexico for 2 weeks. And so you're leaving your kids to pursue love with Annie. But we start to find out all about Annie. And I have questions for April because are how is this going to work? So let me get this straight.
Okay.
The 5 of them live in a house. They have a nanny. Annie is a single mom who works at the strip club, and she has 3 kids, 2 of them grown, 20 and 11, but the 7-year-old still lives with her. So Amani and Matt are going to divorce, and one of them is going to marry Annie. I do need to ask April if it matters if it's same sex or not, if that matters. The second thing is, then is Annie also bringing her 7-year-old to live in the house? So then now it's 7 of you in the house? Or is she doing what Mina had to do and leave the kid behind? Like, what is that going to look like?
So, to the first question, it doesn't matter which one of them marry her. Right now, we do allow same-sex marriage in the United States. Right? Things are in flux, though, right? Right now, it's allowed, so it doesn't matter which one sponsors her. As for the children, if she wants to bring those under 18, they can come in on a K2, which is what Mina's son would have been able to do if his passport issues had not occurred. And as far as, you didn't get to her profession yet, but I am concerned about her profession, not because I have an issue with it, but prostitution is one of the things that makes you ineligible to come to the United States, even on a visitor's visa. So if they have some suspicion, which, let's face it, a lot of our CBP officers and interviewers are, what's the word? Patriarchal, stereotypical. If they have any inkling that her being a stripper is close to, or that she has participated in prostitution, they can deny her entry at 2 places. So they can deny her the visa when she goes to her interview. And even if she passes that interview, they can still deny her entry at the border, whatever port of entry she comes to. So there are 2 places where she could be evaluated and judged as being a prostitute just because she's been working so long as a stripper. I do not agree with it, but I have seen it happen.
It's a good point. It's a good point, and would be concerning as well. And also, so she originally got pregnant at 16. Talked about how she had not a lot of opportunity as a single pregnant female. The dad took off as soon as she got pregnant, meaning her partner took off. And she started working at a strip club at 16, you guys, and she's now 37, and she still works at a strip club. Now, I don't know. I don't know if it's just maybe it's something she loves to do. I don't know if because she talked about you just do whatever you have to do when you have a child. But that's a long time. I don't know if I know of a stripper that has lasted that long in that industry. So her concerns are she loves Matt, she loves Amani, she says, but her concern is that they've been 10 years together and she's the new person in the relationship. Maybe she picks up her life, goes to the US, and they get tired of her. Then what? What happens in that situation? I think it's a concern, but I also think, hey, they're going to get divorced so that one of them is going to be married to you. So technically, you're going to have the upper hand in that relationship because you then are now the married partner. What do you think, April?
I think it's a legitimate question for her to bring up. And again, it's a good thing for her to talk about with them and think about on her own, as opposed to just ignoring it. Like, what roles do you all think that we're going to play when we're living in the house together? Are you thinking you're going to be just using me for childcare and mechs? Or am I going to also be able to realize my dreams, make my own friends, go to school if I want to, it's a good conversation for them to have.
Agreed. Hey, Stevie and
Stevie and Basil.
Bessie. What
I
up?
just said Basil. I just shortened it up.
We talked about this briefly again on TikTok, and I want to know what you guys think in the live chat, or if you're watching the replay. Would you be able to be in either throuple like these three, or like 90 Day, The Last Resort, in a non-monogamous, what the hell, what is it?
Ethical,
Wait, don't tell me. Non-ethical, non-monogamous relationship. You see my eyes just roll to the back of my head.
Your eyes rolled so hard. Hey, Christina.
So hard. Yeah, it's a no for me. What is it for you, April?
Throuple, I'm going to say no. That's just too much people management and feelings management. And I like being alone way too much to need to entertain and satisfy two different people. But ethical, non-monogamous, I could do that. I could do that because it's less pressure.
That's amazing.
You can be entertained by your other partners and things that I simply do not want to do, and I get to have more time by myself. The only thing is I want my bills paid. And no matter what relationship I'm in, whether it's just one person, 75 people, when the first of the month comes around, I do not want to be paying all of my bills.
April says she could be in a relationship with 75 people. I don't know if you caught that part, but I'm just like, I caught it.
I just don't. This is what I never understand relationships where two people are together and people are paying all of their own bills. Like, what are you getting out of it? There's only a financial incentive. The baseline is a financial incentive.
I mean, at least you're honest and you know what you like and you know what you want.
Right. Or at least like some healthcare. Do you work for the government? You have really good healthcare? Give me that at least.
Yeah, I just think that I've said it before. I think Americans are a little loca. I'm trying to understand, and for many years I've been trying to understand, and I think maybe I just don't understand.
I have always had an eye out for what kind of like benefits I could get from dating somebody. That's probably why I don't have a problem with people like really dating for a green card. I'm always thinking about like, oh, you work for WMATA? Can I get like a free Metro Rail pass?
I'm not putting your business out there because you told everyone already. But do y'all remember a few years back when April did the date-a-thon and she was going on 2 dates a day so that she didn't have to pay for breakfast or lunch or dinner, like none of her meals?
Every meal was covered.
Multiple dates on a regular for months, y'all. She was doing a little experiment. I was, first of all, that is a lot of work. Second of all, I think I'm too much of like a hopeless romantic. So like I would like start to get feelings for someone, not like obviously on the first date, but you know what I mean?
The hardest part about it is managing, these were all men. So like the hardest part of it is managing all of their egos, honestly. Like making them think that what they're saying is interesting and having conversations about the dumb things they wanted to talk about and their stupid opinions. That was the hard part. Because like in that moment, I don't really care what your opinion is. I'm not here for us to have a long-term relationship. So I got to pretend like I'm interested in it.
Oh my gosh. You know what? Oh my goodness. Christina says, I was in an unethical, non-monogamous ... because I didn't know. Yep.
Christina, that happened to me too. That's what led me down this pathway that I'm on now.
All right, let's move on to Greg and Joan and of course Lucille. My note but it says Greg 35 SMH. It said Lucille, problematic, and Joan, why? So here we are. First of all, I'm not clear on what Greg's job is. I mean, the first 2 episodes we saw like he does a lot of baking and he wants to open a bakery, but like, how are you paying your bills? What job do you have besides the bread that you take to your neighbors that may or may not pay you for the bread that you use your bare hands and pick up? There's no gloves involved, none of that. Like, what's his job?
He does not have a job. He said that he sells his bread and that he is unofficially like he does like plumbing work when his friends call him or have an issue. He is not indicated that he has a full-time job of any sort.
So then how is he able to get this K1 visa and how is he going to be able to sponsor Joan?
I promise you that his mom was probably a joint sponsor. I promise you. Like we haven't seen him. You know what? Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he has a job that he just can't tell us about. Hey, C Miles. Maybe he just can't tell us about what his actual job is.
No, I don't think he has a job. I
don't think he does either. I was just saying that.
Yeah, because he's giving off like lazy, uninspired vibes to me, and like, So I also called him a big baby at 35. Those are my notes are not very complimentary, you guys. I'm just going to put it out there right now. So he's cooking. Joan is arriving today. The mom wants them to have separate rooms. He bakes bread, and I'm just so frustrated already. He bakes Joan some bread, which I think is, I guess a lovely gesture. Although he puts her name in the bread, and then that's going to be the sign that he holds up at the airport, and then expect her to eat that bread with his yuck.
By the way, my tag is dedicated to her. Because when he was making the sandwich, the mom said, "Do you want some mayo?" He said, "No, she doesn't." Why did that crack me up so hard? No, she don't like mayo.
So she's coming from Uganda, you guys. One of the things, again, that I thought was problematic is that when he saw her, he got excited and he said he was born again out of his mother's womb. That's why I'm like, you are going to just be a big baby about this. She thinks he looks great. He's lost weight. She's missed him. And then they get in the car and then he talks about how his mom was talking about them being intimate and wanting separate rooms. And again, I was like, oh, see, you're not only a mama's boy, but like, you're just a big baby. Like, this is your fiance. Stand up for yourself. Of course, she's going to want to stay in the same room with you. Like, also, where's your house? Why can't you have an apartment? Why don't you have a job? I walking around the neighborhood with your baked goods is just it's not inspiring to me. But I guess, love can be enough. I don't know.
No, love is definitely not enough. She's definitely not happy with his living situation. I think, unfortunately, she probably thinks that it's easier for him to change the situation than it really is. I think there's a perception outside of the US that it's not as hard as it is to get an apartment and have your own space. It's actually pretty expensive to live, particularly where he is. He's in Long Island. It's expensive to live there. And I don't think that she was so frustrated because of the issue of them sleeping together. I think she's just in general frustrated at his life right now that he doesn't have his own place.
Facts. She left a lot behind in Uganda. She has her undergrad degree. She was a director of some agency. So she left a lot for love. Now, I do wish I could ask her, like, what is it that she saw in him? Like, did he because, you could be on vacation, on holiday, and be a whole different person, right? You're representing, the best of you because you're on holiday. But coming and seeing how someone lives and what their true motivations are, that's also important, right? Like, if you're going to marry this person, you're marrying everything about them. And if he's 35 living at home and doesn't look like he's in any type of rush to do any type of adulting, that's a red flag for me. He also made this chicken wrap and fries, and I was like, it wasn't even like in some type of heater thing. So now the fries are all cold and he wants to pull it out and have her eat it. I just thought that was weird as well. And then they get to the house. And again, I wrote the mom's going to be problematic because she meets Joan and immediately says that she's clingy and shy. Now, hear me out, you guys. Some mothers love the fact that they have big babies at home that they can still take care of. And when an adult woman comes into their grown-ass son's life, they start to feel threatened because they're now not going to be in the number one position and start jockeying for position with the partner, which is what I think the mom's going to do. So the mom wants to make sure that they consider her being there. Great, I get it. That's your house. That's your home. But it's not about that. It's about this new woman taking your son's attention. And when she sat down and talked to Greg, and she was like, well, you're going to have to like put your foot down on the dogs on the bed thing. First of all, y'all, I love me a dog. Okay. Want a dog. Don't have enough time for a dog right now, but love them. But what my dog's not going to be doing is jumping on my bed. Y'all already know how I feel about outside clothes. Dogs walk outside on the nasty concrete. You're not about to put that dog in the fresh sheets in the bed. Doesn't make sense to me, y'all. Y'all be petting the dogs and then quickly putting your hands in a bag of chips and those chips in your mouth, washing your... Like, I can go on. I'm just saying, nah. Nope. Why are y'all like that?
I don't know. Something about when you get it, you just forget about well, not everybody, but I was that kind of person. You get a pet and you just suddenly forget about germs. I had a cat. He used to sleep on my head, like literally would get in the bed and just like curl up right around my head. And I know that looks crazy. But for some reason, he was my kitty and he wasn't germy. I know, Linda. I know.
Not with the black girl hair that, you can't wash every single day and it's all fresh and clean.
Yeah.
Nah. Nope. Sorry, April. You lost me on that one.
I know I lost you. I'm not even trying to get you to agree. And then there was one guy that had a dog that I dated that I liked so much that his dog would sleep with us. And like, I was so far gone. See, that's what love does to you. That's why you shouldn't date for... Never mind.
Oh, Lord.
Look at Christina.
Yeah. Christina, preach. Y'all know how I feel about cats, too. That's why I couldn't say a word. I just had to let April speak because y'all know how I feel about cats. So Joan's mom, again, I wrote it for the third time, is going to be Greg's mom is going to be problematic. Third time writing that down. Then he started crying, and I was like, why is he crying? Because he realizes this was like a Freudian slip. This was real talk. Not good enough for her, and he loves her so much.
I didn't understand why he was crying. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, because in his mind, he knows that he's lazy and his ethics, work ethic, life ethic is not to the same standard. Now, Tanya in the live chat asked a great question. My question, she says, is how did he afford a trip to Uganda? How did he afford that trip to Uganda, you guys? Because you're traveling, you ain't got no job, and you ended up staying at the guy's house that you met on the plane. So where were you going to stay had you not met him? Like, I have a lot of questions, and I'm concerned about Greg because I think Greg is a big man baby. And I don't know, you guys, you shouldn't settle just because, you think it's love. What you're selling for, supposedly is supposed to be for the rest of your life. Is that how you want to live your life? because I can only imagine what that conversation is going to be like. Joan's thinking they need their own house soon and start to live their lives. When Joan, it's been 35 years, he hasn't left yet.
Yeah, but a lot of us have rose-colored glasses and just think people are going to suddenly get motivated and we marry for potential or we partner for potential rather than what somebody actually has. I have sympathy for her because I feel like his personality could be one that draws you in. He does seem to be a considerate person. I like the way that he talks. He does seem very respectful. But then you look at what he has going on in his life, and I don't want to be involved in that, but I could see how the talking could get her there. You know what I mean? No, you don't know what I mean. Linda doesn't know what I mean. But
even his bedroom looked like some frat boy bedroom.
I did not understand what was going on with his bed.
His bed, the pipe, the closet.
But I couldn't stay focused on it because then his mom was standing outside the window.
And then also, well, that's the next episode.
Oh.
Then also, like, your mom cleans your room for you still? Your mom cleans your room for you, Greg. Your mom cleans your room? Oh, you guys, he just, yes.
Meanwhile, I don't even go in my son's room.
Yes. It looked like it smelled. Why don't these guys ever get fresh bedding? That part.
The sheets looked like they were one ply.
And they didn't get washed in forever. And then you throw the dirty, nasty dog on top and call a day. Let's all jump in after she takes a shower. Stop it. Okay. Problematic. Moving on.
Problematic. Moving on. Except shout out to Ray Della, who's also a cat lover.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm 10 toes deep, in, down, whatever you want about how I feel about cats. That will not change. Hey, Michelle. Hey, girl. Hey, Stevie and Maudie, 37 and 26. I'm wishing them well, because this is really all about love, in my opinion. Thought it was interesting that Stevie talked about feeling sick and it being too expensive to see a doctor in the US if you don't have health insurance. And I'm not going to get into all of that, but like the current times, man, are the current times in the US. Whoa. They have 89 days to wed. They're in New Orleans right now. He's already having doubts because he's never been away from his family before. And he's saying that he can't return to Iran. And I'm asking April why.
Yeah, unfortunately, people right now who visit the US, Iranian citizens, could be considered enemies of the Islamic Republic of Iran upon return. If I mean, at the very least, he would face some intense questioning. At the most, he could possibly be subject to torture. I don't know if I could say that here. He could be subject to some harm. So he's right to conclude that once he's here, he's here. Mm. But with her knowing all of that, I just feel like, I mean, I guess she can't move, but to come from Iran to the US, specifically to New Orleans, is very extreme. Mm-hmm. That is a very stark difference. Every place in the world is not New Orleans. New Orleans is wild. That is, and like, I don't know what season it is that he's there, but if he, like, imagine he landed during Mardi Gras season. Like, that is just a wild time to be in New Orleans. And New Orleans itself, like, he's seeing the people that are dressed, with a lot less than what he's used to in Iran. Imagine when he goes into the quarter and sees like all the tarot card readers.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely going to be a shock to the system. It already is. Stevie's feeling like she's going to have to fill the voids where him leaving his family and missing his family, that it's just her, and she's going to feel that. She's going to need to fill that void, and she's feeling a little bit of pressure about that, which I get. Madi talks about no singing in Iran, no dancing in Iran. You can't even walk your dog on a leash there. And he is hesitant to say any more because his family is still there and he's worried for them. And even the producer was like, well, you're in America now. You can say whatever you want. And he's being mindful that, this is also shown on international TV and his family's still back in Iran.
Yeah, C. Miles, you're correct. So she chose for them to stay in New Orleans when he first got in. And what I'm saying is I just think that's really extreme of a choice for her to make, given where he's coming from, in my opinion.
And listen, C. Miles, New Orleans is extreme, but Mississippi is going to be extreme as well. And y'all know what I mean. That
in a different way. Yeah.
That is the South. And we already know the dad is already talking in great stereotypes. So that's going to be a whole shock to the system as well. Trust and believe. Anything else about this couple? That's all I have for them.
Yeah, that's all we saw them for on this episode, is just she wanted to clarify whether or not he really wanted to leave, because he mentioned, what if he wants to go home? But I think that was just his homesick talking.
I just saw Christina's comment. That's hilarious. Her morning shower is to get clean from his bed. Greg. Sarper and Shekinah. Am I saying it right? I always say it wrong. Shekinah. Listen, Sarper this season has grown on me. I'm not sure what bulb twisted in his mind, but he's just coming off way better to me and actually is likable, and I can relate to a lot of his concerns. It's a conundrum for me because I'm like, I thought I did. Do I like him now?
He presented very, very chauvinistic in the first season that we ever saw him in, because I think he was on The Other Way first. And he still has some of that chauvinism about him. But I also am feeling a lot better about him. I feel like Shekinah actually does get to have a voice in the relationship, whereas before I did not feel that she did.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but they're in Turkey, poolside. Visa got approved. They're having mixed feelings, especially Sarper and his family. He feels happy, but he feels guilty. His family has doubts as well because, he's going to go there by himself and all he has is her. And he'll be there in the U.S. What if they fight? And she's like, well, I'll just kick him out of my apartment and he can go to one of my friends. And they were like, oh, that sounds terrible. That's not going to work, right?
Yeah,
so sister's super concerned because isn't it their apartment, right?
Which is a weird conversation for Shekinah to launch into.
Right. And I also think, too, you guys, when you're a couple and you guys are going to move in together, the person, if you're moving into someone's place, it's always going to feel like their place. If you go and get a place together, then it will feel more like your place together. I'm just saying. I've been there, done that, and guess what? Bye. We break up. Bye. Sarper's worried because when he gets to the U.S., he's going to not have any income. Shekinah's going to have to support him until he gets his green card. And so that's going to be like a control thing. And like we saw in the previous seasons with him, that can be an issue, right? Control and the whole masculinity and being a man and all the things. So what is that going to look like? Have they had that conversation? So they say goodbye to the family, going to leave for Istanbul. Sarper feels nervous and confused. And Shekinah doesn't see what the big deal is. She's like, you're a grown man. Like, you're too close to your family. This is the first time you're leaving them, all the things. However, here's where I can relate because A, as an immigrant, and B, being close to family, you are really close. Like, I think sometimes Americans don't understand or haven't experienced multi-generational families and being very, very close to your nana, your parents, your siblings, having them all live in a house together, and your nana babysits you. It's very common in immigrant families. It's not uncommon. It's not like a Greg and what's her name, Lucille situation where Greg's just lazy and is living at home. It's not that. It's like a multi-generational thing. You're close with your family. You respect your elders and you want to take care of them in their older age. So I get what he's saying, right? It's a big deal to leave them. Yes, he's going to start his own family. And yes, Shekinah, they're going to start their own family together as a unit. But I can see where he has some concerns, and I can see why he would have some concerns. What do you think, April?
I definitely understand his concerns. What annoyed me a little bit, and maybe this is the American spirit, is I don't think that you should have children and expect them to take care of you in your old age. I think that's my job as a parent to line up my end of life care. I don't think that it's reasonable for me to expect my child to live their life, always keeping in mind I've got to take care of mom in the end. If they want to come visit me, if they want to be involved, that's fine. But I don't think that's your child's responsibility. And I say that as someone who had the pleasure of end of life care for my dad. It was an absolute honor for me to do that. But there was never an expectation that I give up my life where I choose to live, my opportunities to be able to do that.
I'm going to have to sit on that because it goes against everything that is programmed in my mind. So I'll get back to you on my thoughts on that.
What do you guys think? In the replay, tell us below.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that it is your child's responsibility to care for you in old age? And very nicely, this is a nice conversation. This is not a judgmental conversation, because I do understand people come from different perspectives on it. And so when Sarper says I'm the only son, so I have to be here, I completely understand where that's coming from, but I would not do that to my own child. I would not make my end of life. I've already made end of life plans. I've already put away end of life money as much as I can. I don't want them to be hampered by my end of life.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, my son is 21. SC Miles asking if I had a child. Just one.
My next note is on the flip side. So I say Sarper seems like he's really changed. Coming to the U.S. is going to be a big change for him as well. However, when he threw in living in his apartment for 13 years and he changed a lot of things for Shekinah, especially the thousands of girls that have come in and out of the apartment, I was like, oh, there he is. There he is. That's the guy that I remember.
He had to throw that little line in there, didn't he?
He really just.
Am I misremembering, or did Shekinah make him get a new bed?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because he was on about all the women he had back then.
Yeah. And it was 3,000 before, and now it's down to 1,000. So I don't know. It's somewhere in between, I guess.
Hey, Oslo. Sorry.
My mom's just saying, so there's no Wi-Fi, but here I am. Hello. Hey, Joslo. What was I going to say? Oh, I want to talk about Shekinah's concerns about him getting along with her daughter, because remember, the sister Sophie didn't like him at all, but she also met him when we met him, and we didn't like him at all then either. So there's that. But Shekinah does say that if her daughter doesn't like him, then she's not going to be able to marry him. And so now he's feeling that pressure. And he's like, sometimes I'm a jerk, but I'm cute, he says. And I was like, oh.
What's it got to do with whether the daughter likes you or not?
Right. And even if you think you're cute, you still should think about some of the things you say, and some of the things you say specifically to women.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
That
two
was
and
a
two,
weird response.
yeah, 2 and 2 don't make 4 right there. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but
I
he's
think, yeah, he would have been better off just saying, I'll do my very best to relate to her. And um, that's what I would have thought was an appropriate response, not I'm cute.
yeah, very odd, very odd. Tanya says that she was able to help provide end of life care for her grandma. Seems like it was happy to do it and spend her last few months with her. My schedule allowed it, and I did it.
Yeah. I understand. It's an absolute pleasure when your schedule allows it and you can. I would just I would hate for, let's say my son's got an opportunity to go work on some project, out of the country, and they're like, "Oh, I can't because my mom is in a nursing home and I'm an only child." I never ever want them to make that kind of decision. I'm good. You go.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. I definitely hear you. Guys, if you're watching the replay, let us know your thoughts. Let's have a constructive conversation about it. And that's all I got for episode 3, you guys. I Listen, there are clear standouts on who's going to be problematic, who's going to be lovey-lovey, who's going to make it down to the 90 days and get married. Like, I have clear thoughts.
We
Clear
still have one couple that we haven't met yet. I mean, like, we've met them, but they haven't shown up in the season yet.
The rich guy in West Hollywood.
Aaliyah and WeHo guy. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's going to be
I'm excited
interesting.
to get to them.
Yeah, me too. And Greg. Oh, Greg.
So go ahead and give us your predictions. Or do you want to wait?
I want to wait. I want to
Okay.
be on the fence a little bit, and I want to talk crazy about Greg for a little bit, and talk crazy about the thruples a little bit, because that whole thing is just, y'all. Could you be in a thruple? I'm asking because I feel like I'm old school or something. Because I just couldn't do it, and I've been approached. I've been approached multiple times, you guys. Multiple times. I've been approached by. Do I want to say this?
Say it, Linda. Say it.
I've been approached by well-known people
She's
that
giving us an exclusive, y'all.
that you all have seen, that they thought that there was a spark between us and wanted me to join their little situation. And multiple times, you guys. And at first I was like, Drake, you know what? You know what? You know what? Okay. I was like, am I giving off a vibe that I would be open to that? Because I am the last, y'all. I am the last. I like to be with one person. I don't have enough love in my heart to expand to us being in a group love. That's just not, I just know. But it's yeah, I've been approached multiple times. You possibly could have seen me on one of those reality shows. That's
Mm-hmm.
how crazy it is. But yeah, let me know if you guys can do it, because it couldn't be me.
Happy early birthday to your mom, Joslo, who will be 95 in May. How amazing.
Oh, she's a May baby like me. Love that.
I
Happy
love
pre-birthday.
Tauruses.
I'm a Gemini.
Oh,
Get
you're
it?
on that side of the May. Mm.
That was funny. No shade, but shade. Oh my
Oh,
god.
God, no.
Oh god,
So,
no. Oh, Joslo, no to the no to the no. Okay, you guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm so glad we're catching up on 90 Day, the regular one, because there's a lot of juicy stuff here for us to talk about. We will be back on Monday, and we will be talking 90 Day, the last resort. And when I say it's the last resort, it is the last resort. Bye, guys. Are we going to?
bye. Yeah, let's do just 5 minutes on 5-10 minutes on TikTok. Yeah.
All right. Head over
Okay.
to Abby the Attorney's TikTok. We'll see you there in a minute.
All righty.